Gonna do a quick unboxing of this new cold air intake from Infinite Auto Works. So, filter. You can get oiled or dry. I went with the dry for my location and climate. Very nice. Coupler. It's going to be for the inlet to the other pipe. I'm not going to open this yet. All the weather stripping for the box, your hose clamps and hardware. This is going to be the top part, not the actual inlet, but this will go to the inlet and then to the filter. Map sensor here. Powder coated like a wrinkled black. Very nice. And this is probably the inlet. Nice and wrapped up. Just gonna throw this on the floor out the way for now. All right. See the logo. This will not be seen once on the car. It actually will sit in the car like this. So you're not gonna see it for those that care. Nice lasered etched logo. Won't see it. Nice quality part there too. Set it aside. Here's the actual shield or the housing. And then last but not least is the lid. This is the only logo on the kit that will be seen once installed. Again, this is like laser engraved, laser etched. Same powder coat, wrinkle black. So very nice. So it'll sit around like this. Lid, filter. Should be a fairly easy install. Of course, being the inlet being the worst part, but let's get to it. All right, guys. First, let's start with taking off the engine cover, just to get some extra room. Take your oil fill cap off. Just gonna pop this guy up, set him aside out of the way, put your oil cap back on, of course. Alright, so we're going to start off with a 6mm. What we're going to do, obviously we're going to go ahead and get the stock box out. Little baby flathead screwdriver to help pop this clip on this map sensor. Pop straight up, push down on that clip. Pull them straight out, tuck them out of the way. Again, 6mm. Loosen this guy off. Separate this inlet from the box. Sometimes a screwdriver will help. Just to get between and separate them. They get a little stuck. There we go. Separate it. Once that's separated here, this stock factory box just pops up with just rubber grommets. Give it a little tug. Boom. Factory box out. So what we'll need to do, in my case, you can see my rubber grommets came up with the box. We'll need to remove these from the box and put them back in the car, as the new intake will reuse those. So I'm going to set the box to the side. And then now the fun part is to get this inlet pipe off. So let me try to get you guys a better angle so we can see what we're working with on this. Alright, try to bring you in for a closer look here on the inlet. Next step is this PCV hose right here. This guy. This is probably going to be the hardest part really of the entire thing, in my opinion. It's got 2 grooves on each end. So what you need to do is you squeeze them pretty tough, on those grooves on each end, and then pull up. So this is where you might want to use some needle nose pliers or something else to kind of get in there. For one, it's hard to get your hand all the way in there, and two, it does take some squeezing and push to get that off. But squeeze those, pop them up, and then we'll move on to the clip on the actual turbo. So as you can see, get this light right, you can see right there is one of the part of the clip that we need to pry out with a flathead screwdriver. And then there's one on the other side, which is going to be kind of hard to show you on camera, but you can go right through here with a flathead and do that, and I'll show you exactly how to get these off and what they look like once I get this off, so you have a closer look. And another trick is when you're squeezing it with your pliers on those both ends, you can get a flat head under the lip of the ring and pry it up as you're squeezing. So that's what I'm gonna try to do here. It is plastic, so you know we're not trying to squeeze the crap out of it. We don't want to break it. But we're just gonna squeeze it. You'll hear them saying compress. Get your screwdriver up under there, and all you gotta do is just give them a little twist like this, and then we'll try to pop them right off. Here's a good angle of that clip right down here. You're just going to get your flat head and push him right off like that. And you'll do it on the other side, which you'll have to get through right here. As it's hard to see on the camera to get light down there, but right here, same thing, pop him off, and then we're going to pull him straight out. I'm just going to slide him back off the turbo and then pull him straight up. We have to wiggle a little bit. And I do see there is one little clip that harness is hanging on. I'll show you that too, so pop that off the box. And it sounds like mine just snapped back in on one side, so push him back off. Alright, make sure he is still off on this side. He is fully off, so I don't think he clipped back in. Looks like he's fully off. Just got to finagle him. The clip is definitely off. Just a little tight squeeze. There we go. Alright, so that's the clip. You can see I got him popped all the way out, but he just rides in these channels. That's how he snaps in. So what you're doing is prying him out and him out with a flat head until he fully pops out like this, and then that'll allow him to come off. So keep this. You can reuse this if you want, but we definitely have to reuse this inlet seal here that you see in orange. Now you can better see this PCV hose. Squeeze here and on the other side, just like this, and that's how you will pop him off. Turbo inlet's just down here. This harness just clips on to that intake box or the inlet pipe box, and you'll just pop him off before you pull him off. And that's it. So let's get to prepping the new one. All right, I'm gonna start with some prep work here. You're gonna have 2 of these thick weather strippings. We're gonna use the longer one. We're gonna start that on our intake box. Pay attention to how it sits in the car. So it'll sit like this. Intake pipe will come up like this. Filter will be in here, right? So we wanna start this stripping on the bottom. That way the seam will not be seen. So we'll just start him. Press him in there deep. Work your way around, and then our seam will line right up. Go back around. Make sure it's all pushed on there. Make sure your seam lines up. Alright, so sit in the box. Pipe's gonna come like this. So should cover that seam up perfect. So next, what we're gonna do is you'll have 2 of these thin weather strippings, one super long, one short. We're gonna start with the long one here. And then it's going to go, again, sits in the car like this. We're going to start it here. We're going to make sure we get it over this lip as well. So best thing to do is let's slide him on first. And let's push him. Try to push him up and over this guy. Like that. And then work your way. Well, I said it went. I popped them off. A little bit better angle here. This is pretty thick. Takes a wee bit of force. All right. So get them all the way up against this, and then we're just going to work our way around the box. So, like so. Make sure he's on there nice and solid. Corner. Another fun one because you're going to go down and then have to shoot them and go up. And then he should make his way down to the U channel. So up in that corner, tight, down. Then we'll take our second U piece here. And then we want to start here and go through this U piece. So this one's going to be a little bit tougher. So made them up to where the old piece stopped. And this bend is going to be good for this tight new weather stripping. So finagle them, line them up, press them down really good in that U channel. So there we go, corner. Well, there you go. So, continue this prep work. We'll get the new inlet ready. So your old inlet, we're going to take off this and reuse this. So just pop them out of his little grooves. He's going to go on the same way. Check your orientation. And he's just going to pop right in from the top. you can go ahead and fully snap him in like that, because once you get him on the car, all you have to do is just push him in and then he'll pop right in. Next, we want to get this orange seal out. So we're just going to go in there, just pull him right up. You do not need a flathead or a screwdriver or anything. Don't want to tear him up. Pop him out, and then you'll see there is a flat edge and then an edge that has a groove in the middle. The groove edge is going into the pipe. We want the flat edge out. So get him in here. And he's going to be oily from the turbo, of course, but that is no problem. And we're just going to pop him in the same groove, just like we took him out of the OEM. So it's going to be kind of hard to show you as I do that, but just work him around, work him around. Make sure he's all nice and flat. Once you get him in there, and then he'll be just like that. So you'll see exactly where he goes, just like factory. He's in there flush, perfect. Clamps on, ready to go. This piece is ready to be installed. What we can do is, I think as they recommend, we can go ahead and put our coupler on, because it's, as we see from taking it off, it's kind of tight once you get in there. So let's get our coupler on and started. Boom. Just about halfway. And then take one of your clamps. Pipe will sit like this in the car. So if we do this, I think they said about parallel down here, parallel with this, you can still get to it from the top because it's going to be angled like so. So you can come in inside the car and still tighten this guy up. So go ahead and do that. Alright, so he's going to be an 8mm. Go ahead and get your hose set where you want. Go ahead and get some of the slack out of them. Again, about parallel with this guy. And then that way we can still reach him from the top. So, gonna turn them. Make sure we're getting a good bite everywhere. That looks pretty good. Right there. Let me slide them a little bit more. Alright, make sure he's all the way around. Make sure he's biting on the pipe, obviously. Check. He's lined up about right. We'll go ahead and tighten him up. Alright, so he's fully ready to go on the car and be installed. The other piece we can do is the smaller thick weather stripping. That's going to be simple. He's just going to go on the lid. We'll do him last before we put him on. But he'll just go just like that. We'll set him aside. Alright guys, next very important thing on your inlet pipe. Right here on this is where the PCV goes, right? You absolutely want to rub some oil on the inside of this. Like mandatory, I would do it, absolutely, to help that from fully seating, getting a good seal, and it's just gonna make it so much easier to install. So, I have some of this assembly goo that I've been using for years when I was a tech. You can just use some motor oil, but just get oil on your finger like this, get him in there nice and good for that O-ring to go in there so he'll slide right on. So we'll start with this. We'll get this in the car. You're going to throw them in here like this. Kind kind of set him in place. Go ahead, connect this guy first while you have kind of some room. Fully connect this guy, make sure he clicks, and then we'll snap the inlet into the turbo. And then again, all you'll do is line him up. The clip's already fully on. You're just gonna line him up, pop him on, and you will hear him click, and then we'll be good to move on. All right, just gonna throw him down in here. Make sure he kind of lines up where he needs to go. Make sure I can get to my hose clamp. And then I'll pop this PCV hose on. And then we'll pop him on the turbo last. Alright, let's get this guy. Slid just about where he needs to go. Let's get this pipe on. It is a nice tight fit for sure. Get a second light going. So we heard those clicks. That's the inlet pipe. I can get to my hose clamp, and I'm just going to make sure the PCV valve goes fully on like it should. And if you lubed it up, you shouldn't have a problem. Congratulations, that's the hardest part is really just the PCV valve. The turbo inlet, I think, is easier with the clip. So we can see our clamp, he's already tightening ways, but we can triple check once we get him back up top. Inlet is fully on, he snapped. So now we're ready to move on. All right, on the bottom of the factory intake, you're gonna take those two rubber grommets off that I showed you. They're gonna go here in the car and here in the car. And then once you get to this point, inlet's on, everything's plugged up, ready to go. We're going to throw the box in, get the pipe going, and continue on. Next, we are just going to drop this down in here where it needs to go, just loosely. Then we're going to get the other clamp. Go ahead and drop it down on that pipe. Down there. And then you'll see here where our map sensor goes. The pipe here is kind of flat. This is the edge that goes down into the coupler. This edge is kind of beveled or raised for the filter. So this is the filter end. So just pick up your box, get him through this grommet, turn him down, and then we will force him down into the coupler. Come on, buddy. There we go. Now he's up in that coupler. Alright. So, we're going to leave him loose, because we're going to have to definitely do some playing with him. Alright, so he is in there pretty good. we'll leave him loose. We'll go ahead and bolt this box down, which will help us because this weather stripping is tight. But that's what gives you the seal that we're after. Alright, so we have 13 millimeter bolt with a washer. He's going to go through the grommet and then washer nut at the bottom. Try not to drop it. Alright, got him started by hand. And then up here at the front, where he lines up, will be the Torx. The Torx bolt with the 10 millimeter nut. And those do not need to be super tight, especially the one on the rubber grommet. We're just going to give him a good snug. Don't want him going anywhere. So we'll start with 13. Hold your 13 at the bottom. I know that's plenty. We'll swap to the T30 with the 10 millimeter nut. So, and then you want to make sure you hold him level to where he's not hitting. He's lined up. Alright, again, plenty. And then we'll move on with getting the filter on there and final adjustments, then we'll tighten everything up. Alright, so our pipe here is still loose, just sitting in the coupler. Hose clamp's not even tightened whatsoever. We're going to leave him loose. We're going to go ahead and throw the filter on. You see the logo. The orientation doesn't really matter. I'm OCD, so it's gonna be flat like you would expect. So we're going to start with the hose clamp facing up. That way you can still get to it in the car. We're going to work it on here. Infinite AutoWorks did mention that it may come past the box, past the weather stripping. They said that's completely normal. Something else to also look out for that is normal is that the rim of the filter here may sit or rest on the plastic fender liner. They said that's not going to cause any problems. Obviously, the more you push it back to get it off of that, it may protrude more here. What I had to do for mine, it is a pretty tight fit, is I popped my pipe back out of the coupler, got the filter fully on here, fully tightened the filter, and then rotated it and popped it back into the coupler. And then what you gotta do is just hold that top hose clamp that you dropped down there earlier, line him up at the top, make sure he's past the pipe, and I've already started it. Get him right where you want him, tighten him, and then you go ahead and hit that bottom one that we did first. Make sure he's nice and tight, and then that's it. So now we have inlets on. It popped on the turbo. PCV valves on, or the hose is on. Both hose clamps. For the coupler, what I like to do is I just like to fill all the way around the pipe and make sure the clamp is actually on the pipe. It's not like on the edge anywhere. You got a full seal connection all the way around the pipe. Same thing with the filter, obviously we know. If your filter's not on all the way and you tighten it up, it's just gonna squeeze and pop off. I'm not even hitting on the fender liner. I'm poked out a little bit right here. So that's perfect. So what we'll do now is we'll go back in with the map sensor and we'll install him, get the lid on, and we'll be done. All right, next you want to grab the map sensor off of the OEM box that we had set aside. It is a T20. Once you get those off, we will not reuse those. So you'll have two longer black Torx that come with the new kit. The two longer ones will be for the map sensor, Then you'll have 3 shorter black ones, which will be for the lid. So we'll drop this sensor in. It only goes and fits one way, so you'll know, don't force it. If it looks a little wonky, it doesn't line up, then just flip it. So it looks like it is this way, because he fits perfect. Start these by hand. If you're not comfortable with power tools, just use hand tools on this. It does not need to be super tight. So get them started. And then I already have my gun set to the lowest torque setting. Got that in there. We can go ahead and get our clip that we brushed aside earlier. Clicks right in, push down on the white locking tab. And then we're done on that. So now we'll finish off with the lid. Last piece of the puzzle, that weather stripping I was telling you about. We'll just start it right here at the edge. Work our way around. Alright, and then we'll just set him down. Just roughly where he needs to go. Going to be a tight fit. You will have to kind of move the box around and kind of line those up. So again, that's going to be the 3 short black ones. So I'm just going to go and start these by hand because it is just thin aluminum. Don't want to make it to the last step and then cross thread something. That would not be fun. And then last one. Like I said, you will have to kind of pull down on the box to get those. Again, my gun's already on the lowest setting. Not super tight here. Boom. That weather seal is all the way up against the body. Not hitting or touching this harness. And guys, there she is. Simple, clean, very nice OEM Plus looking, really, with the black. Now I did see on the website they will have carbon fiber lids coming soon, or soon-ish. No ETA on that, but I think I'll definitely upgrade that because it can't be that expensive to throw a little carbon in here. So of course you guys will see that when it happens. Go back over, check your work. Inlet, couplers, PCV. Hose down there is good, connectors in, locking tab, everything's tight, everything's sealed. Make sure you clean up your tools and go enjoy your new intake.
Alright guys, got some bad news, man. 2 days after I installed the intake, hit a big semi-tire on the interstate. So, ignore the damage and the sound clips of this video. I'm trying to rush and get this out to you guys. Just that way when it goes to the body shop and they do their thing and get it fixed, I can go ahead and get this video out so you guys can hear this intake. So hope you guys enjoy.